Galaxy Z Fold 6 will be out in just a handful of months, and there's a lot of rumors going around about this phone, and I want to talk about some of the strongest rumors about them and if they're positive or negative or kind of just the same and what to expect. So I wanted to go through that list right now, so let's do it. The first one is the display. Wider and brighter dynamic 2x 120 Hz AMOLED displays suggest a significant improvement over the Z Fold 5. This could translate to a more immersive viewing experience and better content creation capabilities. Now, I think that's a positive because we have the Z Fold 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1, and those all have these thin displays on the outside, and then the inside display is usually generally a well ratio display. So, you know, it doesn't really necessarily need any change on the inside display, but the outside display does need some change. It needs to feel more like a traditional phone, and it's going to get there a little bit. I don't think it's gonna be a huge thing, but I think it's gonna be an improvement, so that's why I'm calling that a positive overall move. The processor, Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, it's great for gaming, content creation, it's great for day-to-day usage. It's going to be great on the battery. So overall, it's a positive. Again, you're getting a great processor. It is a little bit of a jump over the 8 Gen 2, so that's why I'm giving it a positive move instead of a just kind of lateral type move. The next would be the cooling system. We got a bigger cooling system with the Galaxy S24 Ultra. We're going to get it also with the Galaxy Z Fold 6. This is great because it's going to keep the phone cool if you're gaming or using high intensity products, apps, things like that. It's also going to be great for keeping long-time performance good over the period of the phone, meaning if you're doing something that's really and highly intensified, then this is going to be great for that because it's going to extend the life of the performance out and not have to hold back what you're doing on there. So that's why I think we're going to see some positive movements with that cooling system. Cameras, I'm calling this a negative because so far the rumors are we're basically going to get the same cameras as we did for the Fold 5 and Fold 4, really. So you can't look at that as a positive. Even, I mean, it might take some better photos overall, but generally it's gonna be the same kind of thing. I can't imagine they're gonna blow us away with like the way this thing takes photos and videos. Even though this is almost a $2,000 phone, probably, you're still gonna pay a lot of money for it and not get a lot of camera for it. I still want the S24 Ultra cameras in this, and I don't think we're gonna get it, so that's why I'm calling it a negative. Again, the cameras might be okay. I'm not saying the cameras are gonna be bad. I just don't think it's gonna be a big improvement, and I don't wanna call it an equal sign either because even though it is equal cameras, it's like we've had the camera for so long, you have to call it a negative because it's time for them. If you're gonna pay for top dollar on this phone, you gotta give us top cameras as well, so that's why it's a negative. Build, a new titanium frame and Gorilla Glass armor would make the Fold 6 more durable and scratch resistant compared to previous models. So that's why it's a positive. It's going to be lighter. It's going to be better build quality. And they've shown us this with better build quality year over year over year. These things have been less prone, I should say, to breaking down, to breaking, to malfunctioning. So I think this is going to be a positive move again for Samsung with the Galaxy Z Fold 6. Battery. Man, we've heard 4,600 milliamp battery, which is a jump. It could be 5,000, but ultimately I think the battery is going to be kind of an equal. If it's at 4,600, it's definitely an equal. When you factor in that you've got a more powerful processor, probably a brighter display, and that's going to use more battery, and just it's not a big jump. 4,400 to 4,600 is not a big jump, so that's why I'm calling it a lateral move, and don't expect anything hugely positive to come to this or hugely negative, kind of most of the same. I expect the battery life to be very similar, if not maybe even a little bit worse. Software, this is a positive. 7 years of updates is a generous commitment from Samsung, and if you can keep a Galaxy Z Fold 6 for 7 years and get all the updates out of it, that's amazing. With folding phones and the mechanism, the mechanicals built into it, I can't imagine most people's phones would last that long. And also, the performance of the phone is really going to struggle after that time. But it's a positive in general. Just giving us that commitment, it's a total high five to Samsung for being able to commit to that. AI features, I love this. I love the AI features built into the Galaxy S24 Ultra Pixel 8 Pro has AI features as well that are really cool and easy to use, same as Samsung's. So it's gonna be nice to have it on the Fold 5, but also it's coming to the Fold 6. So I'm gonna call it a positive, even though it's not gonna really get anything new per se, that in terms of AI features that the Z Fold 5 won't eventually get. But still, I think it's a positive in general, because any software improvements is always a positive. Storage, I'm calling it equal. It's a lateral move. We're gonna see 256, 512, 1 terabyte. Don't expect anything crazily different on that bench. I don't have RAM in there, but if you were talking about RAM, there's been rumors of 12 and 16. I would call that a positive if they get it to 16. But yeah, storage, it's going to be kind of a lateral move as an equal. And then lastly, I'm calling it a negative. Prices and colors. I feel like the colors I really want what they had with like the Aura colors. I think it was like with the S10 phones. Those look so great. They were so beautiful and so interesting looking. I'd like to see them get back to something like that. But I mean, I wouldn't say the colors are going to be disgusting or anything. It's just, you could even call those a lateral move, but I think the price is a negative. That's really what I was getting down to. At potentially $17.99, it's still too expensive for most people. At $16.99, it's still too expensive for most people. You got to get this at least down to $1,500, which I don't think we'll see this year. So I'm going to call the price a negative. Galaxy S23 and the Z Fold 5, for that matter, are due to get the One UI 6.1 update that the S24 has in mere days. And when I say mere days, it's literally maybe 2 days from the time of this video. The latest information coming out from Samsung in Italy is that after China, Korea, and Vietnam, Samsung Italy is confirming that the S23 One UI 6.1 rollout will start on March 28th. And they have this, he basically translated it over to English, showing that the Z Fold 5, Flip 5, S23, all those phones are going to be getting this update. And it sounds like it's going to massively roll out starting in just 2 days on March 28th. I'm hoping the update really puts into place a lot of the improvements in the animations, especially on the Z Fold 5, and brings over some of that cool AI features, which we know it will. So I'm really looking forward to the update, especially for my Z Fold 5. Speaking of updates, a huge update came out for the Galaxy S24 phones. And this update, I checked, I personally don't have it, but it is the April update, and it's a big boy update. This is being tweeted out by Tush, saying that the S24 Ultra, he should have said April, he wrote March, but April update is live. And when we take a look at the update, you can see it's 992 megs, almost a gig there. And it brings you up to the April security update. And you can see it doesn't say a lot in terms of what it actually does, but what we know that it does is that it's going to fix the camera's white balance, accuracy and exposure, low light image quality, color accuracy and expert raw camera app, text clarity and high zoom shots, and support for videos with 480 by 480 pixels resolution in the instant slow-mo feature, among other things as well. So it's really a big camera update that you're gonna notice some of these either improvements or even added things in there as well. So we're looking forward for that update as well on the S24 Ultra. The Google Pixel 9 Pro and Pro XL have already been leaked out. We've shown them, but there's actually gonna be a third Google Pixel 9 as well. So they're gonna be releasing at the same time, most likely in October, the Pixel 9, Pixel 9 Pro, and the Pixel 9 Pro XL. Now the screen display sizes for all three phones are 6.03 inches for the 9 Pro will be 6.1 inches, and the 9 Pro XL will be 6.5 inches. The Pro and the Pro XL will be smaller than the previous generation of Pixel 8 Pro phones. So a little bit smaller, which I'm not always a huge fan of. I'm kind of surprised, especially on the XL, that they're going to be basically 0.2 to 0.3 inches smaller than their biggest competitors here in America, which are, actually you can even throw in the OnePlus in there, the OnePlus 12, the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and the Galaxy S24 Ultra. So smaller displays, which I don't know why they're doing, I'll be honest with you. It's kind of weird to me, especially with the 9 and 9 Pro being so close in size. And then obviously you got to think that the 9 Pro versus the 9 will just be a better phone in terms of probably processing power, RAM, storage allotments, cameras. But other than that, I mean, You got almost the same size display. So smaller phones overall. What do you guys think about these new phones from Google coming out in October? Our last story of the day is a huge disappointment in my eyes. Samsung continually does not improve this feature, and they're not supposedly so far, based off of some submissions through government agencies, on the Galaxy Z Fold 6. Such a disappointment. Here it is. This is the tweet from Ice Universe, who is saying that they will be only using 25-watt charging specs on the Galaxy Z Fold 6 and Flip 6. Such a huge disappointment in my eyes. It's so long in the tooth that Samsung would and should finally release new phones that have much faster charging. They've been stuck on 25 watts. I don't know, has it been 10 years? It's been so long. And at least even go to 45 watt. I mean, you get it on the S24 Ultra, which 25 and 45 watts is not a huge difference, but there is some difference. Even doing that would be a little sugar in your tea. And they're just not improving it. Year over year, year over year. This is probably gonna be a $2,000, close to that anyway, phone price, and you're still getting slow, fast speeds, if that makes any sense. When I say slow, fast, I'm talking, these are fast charging speeds, but they're not that fast. You've got a lot of phones from OnePlus and other Chinese companies that are double, triple, quadruple sometimes the speed of these charging speeds, and charge in 15, 20 minutes versus basically an hour and 10 minutes for what the Galaxy does. It's really crazy. Day has come. One UI 6.1 has officially started rolling out to the Western world, here in America, Europe, and other places as well, for a bunch of devices. The S23 devices, the Z Flip 5 and Fold 5, the Galaxy S9 tablets, and you can download it. I tried to download it, not out for me yet. I have an unlocked phone, so I haven't got it yet. I checked last night. I've checked multiple times tonight as well, but it is officially out. I know that for sure. I've seen people online showing off screenshots that they've had it. I've seen Reddit people having it for basically all the devices that I've mentioned thus far. This is a huge update, massive, massive update. So make sure you have some very, very fast Wi-Fi. 3 gigabyte update. This is humongous. I can't remember the last time I've seen anything over 2 gigabytes. I know I've seen like maybe 2.1 or 2.2, but I don't think I've ever seen 3. This is a massive, massive update. And it's bringing you a lot of the new features from One UI 6.1 that the S24 series phones have, a lot of that AI stuff, and then a bunch of other features and improvements with the phone in general as well. So very looking forward to this update. I want it now. I haven't checked my S9. Maybe my S9 has. I've seen some other people that have S9s that's already out for them, so I'll check mine in a little bit. But Z Fold 5 doesn't have it. I don't have my S23 Ultra anymore. I traded that in with the S24 Ultra, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, but it's out. Go and download it. Go to settings, go to software updates, and download it and see if you have it. And otherwise, keep checking to see if you have it. One UI 6.1 has launched on a bunch of Samsung Galaxy devices. I'm still waiting for it on my Z Fold 5, but it's not gonna stop me from showing you a couple of things that have changed if you're coming from 6.0 to 6.1. I'll show you on my Galaxy S24 Ultra. So the first one is, if you use the gestures like me, you have to, you used to be able to hide the gesture bar at the bottom there really, really easily. I'm gonna show you how to do that right now. So the first thing you wanna do is, if you don't have it, so we'll just go to the Galaxy Store first. So swipe up, show all your apps, and go to the Galaxy Store. At the top there, search for Good Lock and download and install this app. Once you have it downloaded and installed, what you wanna do is open it up, and then you're looking under Makeup, you're looking for Navstar. So tap on that, download that, and then scroll to the very top of your Good Lock app, tap on Navstar. Under where it says Enable Extra Gesture Settings, turn that on. The next thing you want to do is swipe up to go home, and then we're going to go to our settings. So swipe down, go into Settings, and then from here we are going to go into Display, and then Navigation Bar, and And now you're gonna see some extra things in here. We're looking for where it says more options. And then from here towards the bottom, you're gonna see gesture hint. Turn that off. It will remove that little bar at the bottom because you don't really need it. If you know how to use gestures, you don't need to know that there's a bar at the bottom there. So that's how to turn that off. I know it's a couple extra steps, but at least it's not too bad. The last little bit is the always on display. There was a brightness control that is now in another place, and it's similar to what I just showed you. So the tweet comes out from Tarun, who's saying that the Galaxy fam missing the always on display brightness control in One UI 6.1. It is moving to Good Lock next week as confirmed by Lock Screen Manager, and he just tells everyone to retweet it. So you will have that back, but it's gonna be hidden within Good Lock again. I don't know why they're doing some of these things. It seems counterintuitive, especially these two things I showed you, but maybe they have a method to their madness. Vivo X Fold 3 and 3 Pro have been announced, and I want to run through the specs and tell you my thoughts on these two folding phones. Now, these are going to be released, and they kind of are released in China. But the cool thing is, I have a link down below that allows you to buy it and get shipped out from a American company, and it has the Google Play Store installed already for you, and you can use it like any other folding phone. Now, another thing I want to mention is that this phone is pretty cheap, especially if you buy it in China. If you import it, it's a little bit more expensive, a few $100s more expensive to be precise. But this is kind of one of the best folding phones that you could potentially get, especially compared to what we can get here in America and the rest of the world. Now let's take a look at the Vivo X Fold 3 and 3 Pro. So here we go, this is what it looks like. I've had the Vivo X Fold, was it the 2 or the 1 or both? I don't even remember now, but I had those phones. Very cool hardware, very nice big displays. I didn't love the software. It wasn't terrible, but I definitely preferred the Samsung software over that. But let's just again run through this little spec sheet that we have of these two phones. And you can see they're both gonna have LPDDR5X UFS 4.0 storage as well. They're both gonna have the 8.03-inch inside main display, which is massive. Would love to have that on a Samsung. Same resolution, 1920 hertz PWM. Nits are both at 4,500 nits, which is, again, ridiculous. I don't even think we have any phones out in here in America that are 4,500 nits, let alone a folding phone. The outside display will be 6.53 inches AMOLED, same resolution, same hertz. You're gonna also get the 2160 hertz on there, and then the 4,500 nits of brightness again on the outside display. Camera department, it's a little bit amped up on the Pro version. You can see you'll get the 64 megapixel camera on there. So, and they're different cameras as well. So you should theoretically get better photos and quality with the X Fold 3 Pro versus the X Fold 3. But in a megapixels type of way, you know, these don't match up with traditional flagship candy bar slab phones. Battery is huge on these phones, 5,500 and 5,700 milliamps. It's just ridiculously big on there. I believe that's a 3D fingerprint. I can't, obviously some of it's in Chinese, so I can't read it. NFC, you're gonna get USB 3.2 Gen 2 and Wi-Fi 7 on there, which is awesome. And it'll run Origin OS 4.0 with Android 14. You can see the weight, 219 grams and 236 grams for the Pro. And then there are the dimensions. I did want to mention, based off of the size of these phones, Ice Universe is reporting that this is the world's thinnest and lightest foldable phone. They're talking about the Vivo X Fold 3, not the 3 Pro, but the Fold 3. And these phones are, you can see his, starting at $969 and $1,385 for the Pro. If you're buying it in China, here's another little thing showing you it's IPX8, which is water resistant but not dust resistant. Has ultra thin glass plus on those display, on that main display, and it carries a lot of around a lot of the design language from the Vivo X Fold that I had a couple of years ago. But I mean, man, you got to admit the Chinese folding phones really throw a lot in there hardware wise. The software, again, not terrible, but when you're coming from a Western world, there's things about it I just don't like about the Chinese phones. They don't feel intuitive all the time, even when you have it translated into English. It just doesn't feel always right. So I'm assuming, you know, I don't have this phone, but I'm assuming you'll probably feel a lot of that same, I don't know if you'd want to call it a headache or if you'd want to call it a hiccup in terms of how you would feel about it. I don't mean like it's slow software hiccups. I mean like it's not always the best the way they implement the software versus I feel the way Samsung does or Google does or OnePlus even does. An absolute massive story came out for the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 Ultra. We've heard there's going to be a Galaxy Z Fold 6 FE. We've heard there's going to be a Galaxy Z Fold 6. We've heard there's going to be a Galaxy Z Fold 6 Ultra. And it seems like there will be a Galaxy Z Fold 6 Ultra, but with an actual huge, massive butt. Now, I don't mean the butt that you sit on. I mean a butt like, uh-oh. And it sucks, but it's cool. And I'm still hopeful that it will be for us. And I want to explain what I mean by that. This story is coming out of Galaxy Club. They are a very reputable news site for Samsung news, and they can see right there, they said, yes, the Galaxy Z Fold 6 Ultra exists, but with a catch. They go into detail saying, today we can contribute to the rumors. We can confirm that Samsung is working on a device with model number SM-F958. For the record, Z Fold 5 is SM946. The Z Fold 6 will soon become SM956, which is, again, just one different number than the Z Fold 5. The S24 Ultra is 928. So you can see all these Ultras are ending in 8. And this will be no different because you can see Z Fold 6 will be 958, the Ultra version of this phone. So we are definitely getting an Ultra version of the Galaxy Z Fold 6, but it seems like it might only be limited, at least at the time of making this video, to South Korea. Now, there might be some goodness behind that. And what I mean by that is that it just could be slow rolling to come to the rest of the world. It might be a super limited release. Korea seems like it'll probably be the first place that gets it. I also won't be surprised if China gets this, because China, with their high-spec phones, Samsung's trying to really infiltrate that market. They're having a little bit of a harder time, especially with Apple doing a really good job there, and also the Chinese phones being really inexpensive, but getting you a ton of specs. Samsung kind of looks like a fool if they're not giving you more. But I think, and I hope, that this is also probably going to reach America and most of the European market. You might see it at a lot of other places, but I think if this definitely comes out, it's definitely at least a South Korean exclusive, but it also might reach some of their other bigger markets such as America and Europe. And I know they have big markets in Middle East, South America, places like that, but I think they're going to keep it very, very limited. And you could ask on the other end of this, what are they going to have in this that's going to make it so much different than the Z Fold 6 FE, the Z Fold 6 as well? And you got to think that it's probably going to have a very similar processor to the Z Fold 6, which would be the 8 Gen 3. You got to imagine it's going to have a little bit more RAM. Probably this version would have 16 gigs of RAM. The regular Z Fold 6 would probably only have 12, maybe bigger displays on the outside and the inside, faster charging for wired and wireless. Maybe there's a full bigger battery in there. It makes it heavier as well, which I'm okay with as long as you give me the best. Better cameras on the back and on the front. There's a bunch of things they could upgrade on this. I've made lists on this. I've done videos on this, and I'm gonna leave it to you guys. What do you wanna see? What would make this an ultra phone? Put it in the comments down below. Have a great day, and we'll see you down the road. Peace.